The rain had been falling all afternoon, steady and grim, drumming on the tin roof of Harland Auto Repair like a dull heartbeat. The light was fading fast, turning the world outside into a blur of shadows and reflections. Luke Harland, shoulders, hunched in a faded denim jacket, sat beneath a hanging lamp in his garage, the wrench in his hand slipping slightly as he tried to loosen a stubborn bolt on an old Ford truck. His hands, stained permanently with oil and dirt, had begun to ache, more from age than from effort. The cold didn't help either. He hadn't been able to afford heating repairs this year. Luke was a quiet man, not cold, but reserved. A man who worked with metal because it didn't talk back. His days passed in grease, coffee, and the occasional nod from the few loyal customers who still came by. Once, long ago, this place had been his father's pride. Now it was just surviving. Like him. Thunder cracked outside, loud enough to make Rusty, his scrappy old shepherd mix, raise his head from the floor near the space heater. Luke glanced toward the door instinctively. Then he heard it. Faint. So faint he thought he imagined it. Help. He stopped what he was doing. Stood up slowly, wrench still in hand. He tilted his head, listening. Again. A soft, broken voice. "Help me!" Luke moved toward the garage's rolling door, the kind that groaned when it opened. His boots echoed on the cement floor. Rusty followed him, ears up, a low growl in his throat. He cracked the door open. Cold wind blew in, sharp and wet. At first he saw nothing but rain and the dim orange glow of a flickering street lamp. Then his eyes caught movement near the side wall. A slumped figure. He stepped out. The rain soaked through his jacket instantly. There, barely sheltered under the overhang, was a girl, no older than 17, maybe 18. Her dress clung to her skin, muddy and torn. One eye was nearly swollen shut. Blood soaked her shoulder and side. She looked at him like an animal in a trap. "Jesus," Luke whispered, and dropped the wrench. He rushed to her, dropping to one knee. Hey, can you hear me?" Her lips trembled. "Please," she whispered. "Don't let them find me." Her head lolled forward, and she passed out. Luke didn't think. He lifted her carefully, surprised by how light she was, and carried her inside, Rusty close behind. Inside the back room of the garage, where Luke sometimes napped between jobs, he laid her on the cot. He turned on the space heater, grabbed a clean towel, and found his battered old first aid kit. The bleeding was bad, deep, clean, like a knife wound. He peeled back her dress at the shoulder, cursing softly under his breath. "Who did this to you?" he muttered. "What the hell happened?" He cleaned the cut gently, applied antiseptic, and wrapped it with gauze. She flinched once but didn't wake. Her face was pale and wet, streaked with dirt and something darker. He gave her the last clean blanket he had. That night, Luke didn't sleep. He sat on the floor nearby, watching her breathe. At some point around 3 a.m., she stirred. Her voice was raspy. Where am I?" "You're in my garage," Luke said quietly. "You passed out in the rain. You're safe now." She tried to sit up and winced in pain. "Don't move too much. You've been stabbed. I patched it, but you need rest." Her eyes scanned the room, wild and fearful. "What's your name?" Luke asked. She hesitated for a long moment. Emily Trent." He nodded. "All right, Emily, I'm Luke." She nodded faintly. Her eyes started to close again. "You're safe here," he said again, softly. The next morning, Luke cooked her some eggs and toast. She ate slowly, watching him the entire time, like she wasn't sure if he was friend or threat. Over the next few days, Emily said little. She avoided windows. She flinched at loud sounds. Rusty sat near her most of the time, tail thumping occasionally. Luke didn't push. She didn't tell him where she came from. She didn't ask to use a phone. When he gently suggested the hospital, she shook her head violently. "No hospitals. No police." "Emily," he said, sitting on the edge of the cot one evening, "if someone hurt you, They should be in jail. You shouldn't be running from help." She looked at him, eyes suddenly full of something deeper than fear. "I can't trust them," she said. "Not when he's the one in charge." "Who?" She hesitated, chewing her lip, then finally whispered, "My stepfather, Captain Ronald Trent. He's a police captain." Luke stared. She continued, voice trembling. "I saw something. At a party. He and 2 other men. They hurt someone, killed him. I was upstairs. I saw it happen through a vent. They didn't know I was there. I ran." "Did you tell anyone?" "I tried," she whispered. "And then someone broke into my room. I barely got out. They're looking for me. Not to bring me home. To silence me." Luke leaned back slowly. "I don't know what to do," she said. "I don't know who to trust." "You're right not to trust easily," he said. "But I'm not going to let anyone hurt you." 3 nights later, the black SUV appeared. It rolled slowly past the garage once. Then again, an hour later, Emily turned ghost white. "That's one of theirs." Luke locked every door, every window. He barely slept. That night, someone tried to break in. The crash of shattering glass woke him. Rusty barked madly. Luke grabbed the same wrench from before and ran down the stairs. He caught a glimpse of a man in dark clothes climbing through the broken side window. But the man froze when he saw Rusty snarling and Luke charging. He fled into the night. Emily sobbed in the corner of the back room, clutching a screwdriver like it was a sword. "We can't stay here," she whispered. "He'll keep coming." Luke stared at the broken glass. He made up his mind. "We won't run," he said. "We fight." He called 2 people the next day. Gloria Stokes was a former investigative reporter, now working for a small independent radio station. Luke once fixed her car for free when she was broke. She owed him. Tony Mendoza was an eccentric genius, a mechanic with a gift for hacking and old city schematics. He was wild, but brilliant. They met in the garage that night. Emily told them everything, in detail. And then she revealed her secret, an old burner phone taped beneath the lining of her shoe. On it, a video. Blurry, dim, but clear enough. 3 men, one tied to a chair, one of them delivering a brutal blow. Blood. And one face, unmistakable. Under the harsh light, Captain Ronald Trent. Gloria sat back, stunned. This could blow the whole town apart. Tony grinned. "Then let's light the fuse." They created a plan. Tony scrubbed the video metadata and uploaded it anonymously to 5 different outlets. Gloria wrote the story under a fake name. They made sure it would go live in 24 hours. Meanwhile, Tony used old sewer maps to create a route for Emily to escape the city without being seen. But Trent wasn't slow. The black SUV returned the next evening. This time, it didn't drive past. It parked. 3 men got out. Luke was ready. He led them into the alley behind the shop, where Tony had rigged a trap. An old pickup roared to life, lights blinding. Cameras hidden in oil cans filmed everything. The men backed off, but it was too late. The next morning, the story broke. Police captain exposed in brutal attack. Teen whistleblower still missing. Mechanic caught in conspiracy? Luke became a name in headlines. Emily was already gone, smuggled to safety by Gloria. Over. But the next few weeks, chaos followed. Investigations were opened. Arrests made. The department fell apart. Trent vanished, but his kingdom crumbled. One night, weeks later, Luke was closing the garage when a familiar van pulled up. Emily stepped out. She had dyed her hair, wore sunglasses, but it was her. I wanted to say goodbye. He nodded, throat tight. She hugged him, hard. You saved my life. No, he said. You saved yourself. I just opened the door. She smiled through tears. You gave me something I haven't had in years. Hope. She left the next morning. Luke stood in the garage for a long time after, watching the sun rise. Months later, with help from Gloria and a few unexpected donors, Luke repaired the shop, upgraded everything, and opened a small shelter upstairs. He named it Emily's Place. For kids with no one, for runaways, for the broken, the scared, the lost. It wasn't much, just a warm cot, a clean bathroom, and someone to listen. But it was more than most people ever got. And sometimes, late at night, when the wind blew, just right, and the rain came down hard on the roof, Luke would hear a knock and a voice, faint, help. He would smile softly and open the door, every time, because once, long ago, a girl had bled on his floor, and everything changed, forever.